The Las Vegas Raiders almost have it all put together. They got interior defensive lineman Christian Wilkins in free agency to help edge rusher Max Crosby and company make the defense even better. They added tight end Brock Bowers and guard Jackson Powers Johnson in the draft. Bowers gives the Raiders a dynamic weapon in the passing game to go with superstar receiver Devontae Adams. Powers gives the Raiders an interior offensive lineman to run block and hopefully protect the passer from guys like Chris Jones. If you put that together with the other guys doing what they do here, things are looking good for the Raiders this coming season. But to put them over the top and get a spot in the playoffs this year, they need a few other guys that have talent to come through. Let me start with the 2023 first-round pick Tyreek Wilson. What the Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler regime did to him was wrong on so many levels. If a prospect is injured when it's time to draft but you really believe in him, there's nothing wrong with picking him. Wilson has some Myles Garrett-like traits, so I couldn't be mad at the plan to redshirt and develop a guy that could be special. What I didn't like is when Chandler Jones flew over the Cuckoo's Nest, they scrapped the whole plan and played him while he was woefully out of shape. You can lose a player like that. You can't guarantee that he won't lose his confidence forever. What makes it worse is he didn't even have to start playing. Malcolm Kuntz, who had 8 sacks in the second half of the season, was available to play, but they went with Wilson. Good thing he didn't lose confidence and got better. He showed he's versatile enough to play inside, too. According to Hondo Carpenter of Sports Illustrated, he's been working out with Crosby all offseason, and he's already a different guy. If that translates to this season, watch out. He's coming. I know corner Jakorian Bennett is a 2023 fourth-round pick, but he won one of the starting corner jobs in camp last year. At 5'11", 188 pounds with 32-inch long arms, he has plenty of athleticism. He ran a 4.3 flat 40 and posted a 40.5-inch vertical leap at the 2023 NFL Scouting Combine. He's physical and aggressive, too. The Raiders want that on their defense. Defensive coordinator Patrick Graham is big on press man coverage. The Raiders are a traditional press man team at that. Bennett looked okay at first last year, but then started to struggle before he got injured. According to Carpenter, he's another one of those guys working hard on his game this offseason. He has a ton of upside, so if he can get the finer points of press man coverage down, he'll make the Raider defense that much better. The Raiders are hoping he turns into a guy that can cover guys like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. The Kansas City Chiefs have the fastest man in the NFL now in Xavier Worthy. If Bennett comes through, he can match up with all those speedsters and take the quick strike away. On offense, when right tackle Jermaine Illuminor departed for New York, the perception around the NFL is that it left a big void at the position. I never saw it that way, though. Thayer Munford competed with and split time with Illuminor for 2 years. The first year, Illuminor played like he never played before and held Munford off. The second year, I really thought Munford outplayed Illuminor, but for whatever the reason, the job went to Illuminor. All the draft experts that had the Raiders needing a right tackle must not have realized how close the battle for the right tackle spot had been between Munford and Illuminor. They must not have seen how well he played at left tackle down the stretch last season in the place of injured Colton Miller either. Head coach Antonio Pierce remembered, though, and GM Tom Telesco agreed when he took over. Bowers was the best player available when the Raiders picked the number 13 overall, but I wonder how much Munford being here made it easier for Telesco not to pick a right tackle. Munford has to make him right, and if he does, they'll have the offensive line they need to compete. Pierce says he wants the old school Raiders back. He wants to bring the vertical game back. He started to get that going a little bit with O'Connell and speedster Trey Tucker last year. Tucker is one of those guys that runs by corners easily. He needs to be in the game more. Adams is a deep threat because of his route running, and if Tucker and his speed is in the game more, the Raider tight ends will have more room to operate over the middle. You can't leave a safety in the box when Tucker's in the game either. Adams, Tucker, and Bowers would be threats to beat the defense deep. Opposing safeties would really be put in conflict with all three of those guys on the field at the same time. Tucker did a good job with the snaps he got last year, but he's such a threat with his speed he needs to be on the field more. Look, I'm not saying anybody's going to or should just give him anything. He should definitely have to earn it. And to do that, Tucker has to step his game up and make that big jump to year 2. If he can do that, opposing defenses will be confused about who to take away in the passing game, and they'll be wrong no matter what. 2019 first-round pick Josh Jacobs is now with the Green Bay Packers, so a big void has been left at the running back position. It looks like Zir White's going to get the first crack at filling the void, and the 2022 fourth-round pick should. He saw very little action in his first year. That was Josh Jacobs' career year. but when he did get into the game, he was too impatient, especially for zone blocking, but that's no longer the case. He replaced an injured Jacobs down the home stretch of last season and showed plenty of patience and tackle-breaking power. He started the last 4 games of the season and rushed for 397 yards. The 6', 215-pounder averaged 3.2 of his 4.3 yards per carry after contact, so the smash-mouth football element was still there when Jacobs went out. White looks like he's catching the ball a little better these days too. He's starting to put it all together, plus he has that breakaway speed Jacobs doesn't have. He ran a 4.4 flat 40 at the 2022 NFL Scouting Combine. If White continues to put it all together, he can give the Raiders a little more than Jacobs did. They'll be able to run the ball, and that'll make it easier to keep quarterback Aiden OConnell clean. He was good last year with the clean pocket. He completed 68% of his passes for 1,707 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, and a passer rating of 92. Under pressure, he completed 45% of his passes for 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a passer rating of 63.8. OConnell knows his greatest weakness far and away is how he plays under pressure. That's usually the case for rookies because everything is going faster than they're used to, plus no quarterback is as good under pressure. OConnell has to play better under pressure though, and he's been working on it. Also, according to Carpenter, he's been working on that and his mobility since a couple of weeks after the season, and he looks better. They say from year 1 to year 2 is when an NFL player makes his biggest jump as far as improvement goes. He's putting in work too, so we should see a better OConnell this coming season. If we do, the quarterback position will be solved and the team will rise with the way everything is built around him. Pierce started a lot of positive momentum for the Raiders when he took over last season. Then they had a great free agency and a great draft. The Raiders need Wilson, the free agent signee, to play well, and he will. They need Bowers, the first-round pick, and Powers, the second-round pick, to play well too, and they will. And of course they have guys like Crosby, linebacker Robert Spillane, and corner Jack Jones on defense. And they have Adams and Miller on the offense. So if Wilson and Bennett step up and come through on defense, and Mumford, Tucker, White, and OConnell do the same on offense, the Raiders are set. Thank you for watching. See you next time.